Jai Gurudev, happy morning. Dear boys and girls, today I am going to give you a surprise. Do you know? We are going to study DP? No. History? No. Economics? No. Political science? No. Economics? No. Today we are going to learn carbon and its compounds. What? Carbon and its compounds. What we are going to learn? Carbon and its compound. You are familiar with carbon. But what about the amount of carbon present in the atmosphere or in earth crust? In the earth crust and in the atmosphere, the quantity of carbon present is quite meager, very small. Look, if we take the earth crust, we can see only 0.02% of carbon. What? 0.02% of carbon present in the earth crust. Do you know in what forms? In the form of carbonates, CO3 forms. In the form of carbonates, in the form of bicarbonates or hydrogen carbonates, HCO3, then coal, petroleum, etc. In all these forms, in the form of carbonates, in the form of bicarbonates or hydrogen carbonates, then in the form of coal and in the form of petroleum. What's the percentage? Only 0.02%. In the atmosphere, the percentage of carbon, that is 0.03 in the form of carbon dioxide. 0.03% in the form of carbon dioxide. Isn't it? Okay. In spite of this small amount of carbon available in the nature, the importance of carbon seems to be very large or to be immense. The importance of carbon seems to be immense. For that, in order to understand why this carbon is this much important, we want to learn bonding in carbon. What? Bonding in carbon. The bonding in carbon, that is what we call covalent bond. The covalent bond. Okay. Before going to the covalent bond or bonds or bonding in carbon, let us revise something we already learned in the previous chapter. There is a property of ionic compounds. In last chapter, we learned about ionic compounds. What? Ionic compounds. Do you remember the properties of ionic compound? What about the melting point of ionic compound? Come on, say me. What about its melting point? Yes, its melting point is high. What about boiling point? Look, melting point. In short, I am writing it as MB. That is melting point. What about the melting point? Melting point is high. What about BP? What is BP? Not blood pressure. It is boiling point. Boiling point is also very high. And these ionic compounds are conductors, not in solid form. Keep it in mind. Ionic compounds will not conduct electricity in solid form, but they are good conductors of electricity in the solution or in molten form. Isn't it? Do you know why they are not conducting electricity in solid form? Because of less intermolecular space and there is no free ions to move. There is ions are very tightly bonded together. That's why. So, ionic compounds, high melting point, high boiling point, they conduct electricity in solution or in molten state. So, now I am comparing these properties with the carbon. Look, most carbon compounds are poor conductors of electricity. Ionic compounds are good conductors of electricity in molten or liquid form or in solution, isn't it? But carbon compounds are poor conductors of electricity. They have low boiling point, low melting point. So, carbon compounds, what about boiling point BP? BP low. Melting point low. Low melting point, low boiling point. And they are poor conductors of electricity. They have low BP, MB and poor conductors of electricity as compared to ionic compounds. Isn't it? To get the comparison, ionic compounds and carbon compounds. The force of attraction between the molecules are not very strong here. Where in carbon compounds, the force of attraction between the molecules are not very strong. Since these compounds are not conducting or not good conductors of electricity, or they cannot, since these compounds are non-conductors of electricity. Why? The force of attraction between the molecules are not very strong. So we can conclude that the bonding in the carbon compounds does not give rise to any ions. There is no possibility of formation of any ions. Where in carbon compounds, the bonding in these compounds, the bonding in carbon compounds do not give rise to any possibility of ion formation. Then we know the combining capacity of various elements. What is meant by combining capacity? Why atoms or elements join or react with other? Do you know why? In order to reduce their energy, they want to reduce their energy. How can they reduce their energy? They can reduce their energy by attaining a stable electronic configuration. That is the electronic configuration of noble gas. Isn't it? All the elements, all the atoms or ions, they take part in chemical reaction in order to reduce their energy. In order to reduce their energy, what they will do? They will try to attain the electronic configuration of noble gases. Isn't it? So, the combining capacity of various elements depending upon number of valence electrons. What? The combining capacity of elements depends upon the number of valence electrons. What? Valence electrons. What is meant by valence electrons? Valence electrons are nothing but the electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom. What? It is the electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom. Let us look at the electronic configuration of carbon. For example, carbon. What about the atomic number of carbon? Come on, say me, what's the atomic number of carbon? The atomic number of carbon is 6. Isn't it? Atomic number of carbon. Atomic number of carbon 6. So I am going to write the electronic configuration. The first shell, S shell. S, how many electrons are there? 2 electrons are. Next, what? Sorry, K shell. K, L. 6 electrons. Sorry, 4 electrons. Total 6 electrons. Total 6 electrons. Out of 6 electrons, first shell, K shell occupies 2 electrons. 2 electrons are occupied in K shell and 4 electrons are there in L shell. We know that the reactivity of elements is explained as the tendency to attain what? A completely filled outer shell. What we want? A completely filled outer shell. That is, this shell is to be completely filled. Completely filled means how many electrons should be there? 8 electrons should be there. Isn't it? By filling completely, that is here by adding 4 electrons, we will get the outer shell electron is 8, that is octet. We will attain octet. To attain this noble gas configuration, elements form ionic compounds. How? By gaining or losing electrons. In the case of ionic compounds, how they attain this electronic configuration, or how they attain the electronic configuration of noble gas? By 2 methods. One is by losing electrons or by gaining electrons. But in the case of carbon, it has 4 electrons in the outermost shell, isn't it? So, either carbon has to lose 4 electrons or get 4 electrons. So, losing as well as gaining is little bit difficult in the case of carbon. But in the case of ionic compounds, it's not at all a problem. For example, let us take sodium chloride as an example. Sodium chloride. Isn't it? You know, the atomic number of sodium is 11. Isn't it? Atomic number of sodium is 11. So, what about the electronic configuration? We can write sodium 2, 8, 1. Isn't it? Electronic configuration. Here, so, here sodium Na changed into Na plus ions by losing 1 electron. Now look here. Now the electronic configuration is 2, 8. Last shell 8. In the case of chlorine, what about the electronic configuration? 2, 8, 7. Electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. Here, chlorine combined with 1 electron to form Cl minus ion with electronic configuration 288. Isn't it? Now, I hope you get a picture how sodium chloride is formed. Look here. In this case of sodium, 1 electron is there. Where? In the outermost shell. Isn't it? Look, this red dot is the valence electron of sodium. Then plus chlorine. How many valence electrons are there in chlorine? Come on, say me. Yes, 7 electrons are there. Look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 electrons are there. Now, how sodium chloride is formed? This electron, by sodium is losing 1 electron and chlorine is gaining 1 electron. Now, this electron comes to this. Now, the formation is what? Na plus. Why I write here plus? Why? Because by losing one electron it becomes plus. Then what happened to Cl? Look here. Cl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Look, this red electron is the electron of sodium. Now, look here. What is the ion formation is there. But in the case of carbon, what is not possible? This type of electron losing or gaining is not